Hey guys, StarCraft here, and well, funny thing is, I just started recording a whole lot of this, and wouldn't you know it, turns out earlier, as you already tell by the clearness of it, I was clearing up my phone and I started it off. So when I thought I started it, I turned it off. So thankfully I only got to the first book, partway through the first book before I caught this. So yeah. Let's talk about Shazam and the Monster Society of Evil by Jeff Smith, shall we? This, without a doubt, is my favorite of the Shazam interpretation of Shazam. That's not canon. I want to specify that. As far as canon, even though I've only read a little bit of it, it would still be Jerry Ordway's Power of Shazam. But even that, though, I've only read the graphic novel. I'm still holding judgment until I ever get my hands on all of the books from it, and boy, that's going to take me a long time. But what do I like about this? Well, for one, I love Jeff Smith's work. Bone, mostly, of course. I've read those when I was in the library. I never own a copy, and if I do, I want the colored version in the one tome. But this, what I like best about this is how it basically takes the Golden Age interpretation and reworks it, for a modern era, in a way that really works, and even led to a spin-off, a spin-off continuation with Hero Bear's Mike Hunkel doing the artwork. And well, let's just dive right into this, shall we? We open up in New York City as a stormy night as we're introduced to young Billy Batson, who's living in a condemned building. His only source of light and entertainment is a TV, which he's able to jury-rig a power cord to keep it going. But all of a sudden there's a bang at the door as some hoodlum comes in. Turns out the guy who basically needs his share of the money, because he knows that he has money. So he comes in and, well, he kicks Billy pretty bad. Sheesh. That's what I always like about Jeff Smith. He draws these childlike wonders, but it gets really dark. We then meet up with Billy as he's with this homeless guy, Talkie Tawny. Yeah, we'll get to that. Tawny's basically telling him, when Billy's giving him the change, and Tawny always has him go on an errand, Tawny's like, no, you keep it. And even tells him, like, you're a good kid, and you're a good kid. This is no way to make a living. You should go to the shelter. And Billy admits, he doesn't like the shelter. Besides, he'd never be able to interact with Tawny. Then he sees a mysterious figure. He sings to his dad, even though Tawny says, now Billy, that's not right. But he still gives chase into a subway tunnel. Now, those of you who know your Shazam lore know where this is going, as he makes his way down until a mysterious train shows up. And, well, he gets on board as he sees the shadowy, mysterious figure. He sings to his dad, gets on board, and, well, the train moves until it stops. And the figure tells him, get off. Or, get off, as Billy does so, and the train leaves. And then Billy walks down the cavern until he says, holy moly. I love whenever they say that, holy moly. As we are introduced to the 7 deadly enemies or sins of man. As we also meet to the wizard. Still going, this is before New 52, so they're still keeping the traditional wizard old man. Bit of a Santa Claus vibe. As he comes forward towards them, and I love how he says this. Are you God? Of course not. I'm as mortal as you are. What I am is a wizard. Now get up. You don't bow before wizards. As he then, meets up, talks to Billy, and then gets a bit of static electricity. Yes, you'll do nicely. Why did you do that? I wanted to see if you were filled with good electricity. You are. He then explains to him how it's time for a new replacement, and thus he then starts the explaining everything. I have chosen for you a magic word made from the names of heroes whose powers you will need. Solomon for wisdom, Hercules for strength, Atlas for stamina, Zeus for power, Achilles for her courage, Mercury for speed. Say the magic word. Billy Batson, say the magic word. Shazam! And we are introduced to Captain Marvel. Now, the thing here, though, is, like I said, Jeff Smith is going for the Golden Age. In that age, two were very much different people. They were two separate individuals. You had Billy and Captain Marvel. Not Shazam, Captain Marvel. And, well, basically, he explains who he is, who Billy is his host. He's a good boy, and basically says, "My time on this planet is nearly over." As he points out the infamous stone slab hung by a thread, but well, it's about to fall, and the wizard is ready for it. And he tells him, "If you wish to contact me again, light the brazier." As then Captain Marvel says, "Shazam!" The rock falls on the throne, killing the wizard. We then go back to Billy's home, where that punk guy is coming back for him wanting his money. But turns out he's still Captain Marvel, as he scares the guy off. Captain Marvel then looks around, realizes this is no place for a child and for a kid to live. The next morning, Billy wakes up. Now, unlike thinking like, "Oh, was that a dream?" No, he knows it was real. And he also knows what happened. As he then grabs the money and he runs off. And I love some of the little bit of the drawings like this, how Billy's like right in midair because he, I guess, leapt forward, trying to move from a vehicle. He then runs to a hot dog vendor, and I just love it how Billy's just like, "Here, take the money," because he's in a hurry because the punk guy's after him. And also the hot dog vendor first thing like, "Oh, the dog's for him, I bet. What do you want on it?" But the guy just snatches it. And I also love, you hear the lightning on the thunder from the lightning. Hey, that was close. Lightning must have hit inside the park. But then Captain Marvel takes the hot dog from him and scares him off. He's a thief who preys on homeless children. "And you protect them for hot dogs?" "No, but I like hot dogs. I do not have any money of my own. Could I have mustard and onions on this, please?" So clearly Captain Marvel is well aware of hot dogs already, enough to make this comment of, don't you have onions in the tomato sauce?" "No, that's alright," as he loves eating it. I think all the advanced civilization I've seen so far, hot dogs from a cart might be the very best one. And then the guy asks, "Go off to a phone booth?" "Nope, I'm off to see the wizard." And goodbye, as he flies off. I love it. "I'm off to see the wizard." The guy's like, "Okay." As Captain Marvel starts flying through space and time. As he does, as they get closer to the Rock of Eternity, he and Billy are separated as he explains what's going on. It's on our power of Zeus. We are traveling between atoms to go back in time to the Big Bang itself. The Big Bang is the explosion that started the universe. As we go back in time, everything around us will shrink down to a single point. And basically that is where the Rock of Eternity is, and that's where the wizard lives. And I love how it looks. Just look at it. As you see the top, that's where the Big Bang is, the universe is about to begin. And if one should look up there, you might be able to see the old universe. But and Captain Marvel tells them, "No, it is forbidden." And then I also love this detail. They walk in and he says, "Remove your shoes. This is a sacred place." Again, that makes some sense. Although, and I also love that, like, says the wizard. Oh yeah, him. Yeah, Billy's not the perfect goody two-shoes. He has a bit of sarcasm in him. And I love that as he walks on through, but then he comes across the skeletal remains under the slab. But then and Captain Marvel lights the brazier, and the spirit of the wizard appears. And Captain Marvel explains to him where Billy lives. It's condemned. He has no friends his own age. He has no family to take care of him. And Billy's like, "I can take care of myself. I don't need a family. I told the lady from the shelter I don't want a family. Mom and Dad died and left me alone, but I figured out how to live. I don't need anyone." "Billy, I chose you to be my replacement because you were irresponsible and self-reliant." And I love it, and he shows him a bit image of a young girl. And he says, "You have a baby sister." And just look at Billy's face. He is just, as Captain Marvel says, he looks surprised. He is surprised. I'm surprised. I wonder where she is. Billy's just a mess. He's like, "Can I go home?" Of course, just as soon as we explain some of the rules." "What rules?" "I just have to say No, you cannot say it here. Here, this is a very important, and the rules of the ordinary world do not apply in this place." "Why not?" "Because space and time are smashed together here like a black hole. Magic is unpredictable. Magic within magic could create a terrible paradox." And poor Billy, he's getting overwhelmed as he just runs off. And as he explains it all, after Marvel met, he has some holes in his memory. And all of a sudden, 5 of the deadly sins open their eyes. And then they realize, where's Billy? They run out and find that his shoes are missing. And they realize the only place he could go is up top. They run upside and you see, well, Billy's feet, and he's standing at the top. And the wizard tells him, "Get him out quickly!" As the Captain Marvel grabs him. All of a sudden, Billy wakes up again. As he looks outside, after there's a terrorist attack. Now, this book came out in 2007, so it was 6 years away after 9/11. So that was still on people's mind. As Billy then sees a young woman be attacked by a bunch of hoodlums. He thinks it's Lagrange. That's the guy hoodlum has been after him. He takes a hammer and saying, "Run, poor lady, I'll handle these guys." Bunch of crocodile men. As one of them tail whips him. I love, again, this bit of the drawing. Look, he just gets flipped over, he gets up, Shazam! Flies in and takes a bunch of them out. They fly into the air. And then they look down and they find, well, they were talking about their master, Mr. Mind. And the way they got here, you see Billy's imprint and shoe imprints in the ground like a crop circle. Ending this first issue. Oh, and I should point out, I've met Jeff Smith and he signed all 4 of my issues. That's how much I love this. We then go into issue 2, where, just a minute. We now get into issue number 2, and this one's the case I like because it actually is in the comic. As we're seeing Billy, once again, he's in the middle of the night as he's having a dream about the young girl. He has no idea who it is, except that's his baby sister. He then wakes up hearing the news report explaining how there's been monster sighting in those weird crop circles that made of the shoes, which he obviously realizes those are my shoes. And they also mention how a mysterious red-footed figure. And we're then introduced to the Attorney General, Dr. Sivana. Okay, I'll make it this clear. You can definitely tell looking back now that there was a lot of politics that Jeff Smith puts into this through Sivana, but it still works. But if you get where his politics are, you'd already tell this is a disdain for a lot of stuff during the Bush administration, at least, in his own way. But at the same time, though, it kind of works in an evil villain kind of way. Oh, just one moment again. Sorry about that. Now, anyway, and they also find out how the circus is coming to town. The Monster Society of Evil is one of their attractions. Okay. As Billy then just slowly walks his way over there to where Sivana is about to make an announcement. Meets up with this one news reporter lady, and she calls him a brat after he's been standing on the court, and they chase him off. And then Sivana shows up as the guy tries to fix it, like, I can handle it myself. And then, well, listen. Last night at approximately 9 p.m., a set of footprints an acre wide appeared at our park. Your government is working around the clock to find those responsible. The footprints may be warning us of a terrorist plot, or they may be a hoax, but we have the technology to find out whoever caused this. And you have my personal assurance that the Department of Technology and Heartland Security will go through the credit accounts of every citizen until we find something suspicious. And when we do, we'll lock the evildoers up and throw away the key. Remember, the terrorists win if we change our lifestyle. So go immediately to your local mall and spend. Keep our economy strong. Billy, I never understood grown adults, and he's seeing a bunch of these ants are just crawling away. Then Lagrange and his cohort see him, and well, they run off until they soon make it to the circus. And we introduced to the great Carlini, which is Mike Carlin, who's the editor on this. As basically then he's ready. Thank you. I, the great Carlini, have tamed the most dangerous man-eating monster on Earth. Do not be afraid. But then he's eaten. Boy, Jeff, wow. As all of a sudden one of the alligator men sees the young girl and basically realizes that's his sister. So what? And as they grab on, so what do you do? Shazam! As he goes in and takes her away. They all start to go for the kids, and then a tiger shows up talking to them. And He then throws the young girl and his sister up above into a net, and he starts fighting them all. And I love no, we haven't gotten there to that point yet. But again, he and the tiger keep on fighting them as the kids start running off, and they're like, "We've lost! Quit! Eat the children! Jesus!" As they again stomp him, get rid of him. Mary's really starting to taking a crushing to him. Tosses him into the cage, locks him up. Tiger's gone. As a cop points out how there's this giant robot and figure, weird giant robot figure, appears. And so Captain Marvel flies up and starts talking with it. "I am Mr. Mind. I've come to your world to remove all trace of human civilization. All the other creatures of Earth will join me and rejoice." And then there's that bit from the cover, as he's just having a hard time. He cannot lay a dent into this thing. So he flies off until as he's basically Mr. Mind gives him a warning of 2 companions will join me. Then the destruction of your race will begin. And also to point out, this giant thing appears right at the Billy's footsteps. Savannah then sees Captain Marvel fly off, as then the big red cheese flies over and finds Mary, who starts kissing him. That's introduces her name as Mary. And he says, like, "I got news for you. I'm your brother." But I don't have a brother. She impacts over the tiger, and it's revealed it's Tawny. Turns out he can change back and forth, and he should know the captain, but he doesn't. Again, holes in his memories. And basically then, because Mary trusts him, things calm down, they sit down, and I love it. Speaking of which, when was the last time you let him, meaning Billy, out to breathe? Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. Shazam! Which basically tells you that things go bad, they stay in that form for too long. And then you find out, yeah, Billy remembers everything as Shazam, which explains earlier why he knew about getting the hot dog and everything. And when asked, like, "Hey, wait, how'd you become a kid?" "Oh, that's what I do." "Oh, yuck, oh, that. Hey, it's not so bad kissing your brother. That makes it worse." "Change back into Captain Marvel and take me flying." "I'm not right." Again, I just love all this. And then he explains, he says, "I don't have a house." "I don't have one either." "Sure you do. Look how nice your clothes are." "I used to live with Mrs. Bromfield, but I ran away." "Mary Bromfield? Never call me that. That is not my name." And then it says, like, he ran away to join the circus. "Never mind. Don't make fun of me." And again, just so much of this part was beautiful. She sits down next to him and just says, "Mrs. Bromfield was my foster mother, and she's hated me ever since Mr. Bromfield left. She said it was my fault. She wished I was dead." And well, he basically made it clear it was already bad enough with him, but with her, he wants her to have the best. And he's going to, his little sister, he can't live like that. And when she asks, "Do you think it was a dumb idea?" "Nah, I think it's a cool idea. It was a cool idea." And then Tawny reveals how it's the hour of 2 lights. Dusk is on. How does he put it? Twilight. It's in twilight. Day has not ended and night has not started. Things are unsettled. The spirits are restless. As all of a sudden they look and find the second companion has arrived. As they try to figure out what to do. And well, basically Tawny tries to talk to him. Billy points out how this is kind of my fault. As he, basically Tawny says, "Well, this is your chance to fix it." So that ends up convincing him. Billy then says Shazam. Is I love it. Also Mary's all happy, like, "Yay!" And then as soon as it happens, though, she gets struck and sends right into a car. They're like, "Oh no!" And I love Tawny. "Mary!" They go over and she's still the same small size, but she's now in a costume, and she realizes that, like, look, I have a costume like yours. As then she just starts flying around, and she then comes straight down to the ground and bang! Oh! Again, I can so see this animated. Just look at that, and just to look at her face, and she's a complete mess. I'm like, "Did you see me? How could we miss you? You're not hurt. This is very strange." "Don't worry, Mr. Tawny. I'm great." Very funny. Of course, they had to make that joke. But then we start seeing Mary, and she starts flying all the way around him, and then reveals, I'm so much faster than you, it's not funny. She just keeps zipping around, tries to lift up a building, realizes, I'm not as strong as you, but I'm fast and I can fly. Flies it up, and, well, let's just say Mary's trying to get a little full of herself. I don't need a babysitter. I'm Mary Marvel. See you around, sucker. And she starts flying towards the companions, ending this one. And then we get into this one. It has to be my least favorite of the covers. It just feels a little off. I don't know. But we open up as Mary's now going towards the second companion. And when they stand there, though, she didn't realize it was a robot. Why? Because she can sense that there's no living vibrations. And I love how you have the ability to sense life force. That's the gift of the goddess Athena. I don't have that power. Of course not. You're a boy. Well, but it makes sense. Athena's a goddess, not a god, so. And I love how that she starts trying calling him out. Come out, Mr. Mime. What are you waiting for? And then they're trying to figure out what to do, but then all of a sudden a chopper shows up and opens fire on them without even asking. Billy and Captain Marvel taking the hits as they fly away and head back to the Rock of Eternity. Well, no, they just head off. They arrive back at Billy's home and they transform back. I also love this. Before I turn it on, though, I have to ask: are you afraid of bugs? Yes. You might want to brace yourself. But turns on the lights and he realizes, where are the roaches? They're usually scattered by this point. Mary then runs for the TV and it's like, it's the news. Where's the cartoon channel? But they stop as then you start seeing a bit more about what's going on. Explaining how all the bugs in the city are missing. And then all of a sudden, some feds show up with Savannah. Turns out LeGreen and his cohort taught Savannah about, well, they know about when I was Billy. They explain it all. And they have Billy's mouth taped shut. So in other words, in this take, Savannah knows already. And then he tells them to write it down. And he tells them, now, why would the Attorney General of the United States be standing in your filthy room while two alien monsters are threatening the American public? Because the entire city witnessed a flying man in red tights talking to the monster. And I know that this flying Captain Marvel is actually a bad little boy. Are you plotting with the aliens to attack our country? Are you? No, we're trying to help. As he writes down, interesting. I hereby order you to stop interacting with the creatures. You have no authority to act on behalf of the U.S. government. But Captain Marvel can help, he writes down. You are just a little boy. How dare you question my orders? The government will and decide how best to handle this matter, not you. And your friend Captain Marvel, the big red cheese. I always love that nickname. What's this, little girl? The aliens are giant robots? All the more reason to keep them around longer. Robots are just machines, tools for powerful men, tools of war, and war is profitable. As they basically then have him he has his men take Mary away as he takes Billy. They and LeGreen continue on forward towards one of the robots as he uses one of his spectaculars to look on. And well, as he realizes there's no spectral readings, there's zero. The radiation were so low, he swear they were in a black hole. Then a small device shows up and he sends LeGreen and his buddy out forward. Tell him, you don't want the terrorists to win, do you? That gets them going as they run forward, but then they collapse. And Savannah, being his typical self, is just like, oh well. As he's just watching on as they transform into demons. And then they start coming right towards them. And I just love how he's like, quickly, Billy, say your magic word. Or why won't this plastic tape come off? Ah, too late, eat the boy. He runs off until Billy gets his way out, turns into Shazam and just wails on them, fighting them, destroying all, and then Savannah says, look, not at me, you big red cheese, at the transformation ray. He smashes it. Of course, Savannah chews about saying, don't break anything else. Remember, I still have your sister. More of the monsters show up as they, taunt him. But then Captain Marvel fights them off. And then some military men, or SWAT guys show up, sending out tear gas. But Marvel takes off. As, although Savannah's also missing. And then Tony meets up with Billy as they talk it over about what to do, and basically explains how Obviously, Savannah's in it for war profiteering, and they need to go to the authorities, but of course, he's the Attorney General. What are they going to do about it? And then then Billy realizes, let's go to the media. Of course, Tony thinks that's not going to help out any better. But basically, he's like, if I can expose it, we can do something. And, as he does head out, he goes to the Sterling News Network. And also, Tony becomes a cat in this case instead of a tiger. As he does, he's led his way to the front desk. Tries to explain everything to both the front desk lady and the news reporter lady, Helen, who he has a bit of a like for Helen fidelity. But she's all like, where's your mother, little boy? Did she know you're out here bothering grown-ups? Lightning? What was that? And was that thunder? I think that was my heart. Look who just walked in. Captain Marvel shows up, and Helen's obviously taking a liking to him for obvious reasons. He explains that he needs to meet up with Mr. Morris, the head of it. So she flirts with him a little bit and tells him to head on up. They love it. Did you like that, Billy? Billy's in charge for a moment. Yes, I did. We then see some other guys walking around as Tony kind of freaks about for a moment. And again, he's just looking around, finding a little opening as, and Captain Marvel reveals to Mr. Morris what's going on with Savannah. Of course, Morris is like, those are some incredible charges, Captain Marvel, is it? And he basically explains how, we need proof. So he provides to him a global pod. It's not, it's basically a phone camera to record everything, and they use it for war coverage. Be able to use it, and they'll be able to prove it. But as he leaves, it's made clear, while he does trust him, if it turns out if he's right, they'll be able to bring down Savannah. If he's wrong, they can track his position with the global pad. As Billy makes his way over there, and basically, turns out Savannah made his way in. As Tony tells Billy about, tries to remind him of the temporal paradox, because apparently all these came from the Rock of Eternity. But at the end, Billy decides he's going through as he transforms, ending the penultimate issue. And we get to the last one, as Billy, turned into Captain Marvel, flies forward as a bunch of the monsters come out. Clearly, Mr. Mind's working with Savannah. He fights them, and they head their way in. As they see a small opening. He tries to get through and thinks, if Savannah and Mary could get through, so could Billy. He's about to transform in the middle of it, but Tony tells him, no, we must leave. Basically revealing how it's no different if he did it on the Rock of Eternity. So he transforms out of it, knowing he can't transform so long as he's inside. As Tony is trapped outside, however. So Billy soon starts to make his way in as he sees Mr. Mind on the monitors. He's getting an image of Mary and Savannah saying that they're all up there. So he follows them up there, contacted with Mr. Morris, telling him that Shazam and Captain Marvel had given him the pod. As they start climbing up, then he shows them the footage of Savannah holding on to Mary. But I guess one of their lawyers, the lawyers are saying, the image is too blurry. It's impossible to say if the Attorney General is kidnapping the little girl or helping her escape. Helping her? It looks like he's dragging her. That's your interpretation. As they're going in, we also find out where all the bugs are. They're inside. These lawyers are just being complete fools. But Morris is ready to deal with it all. As the report it still. As then we're seeing all these different bugs are talking, we realize Mr. Mind has convinced them how they wanted to crush us. Yeah, we don't want this. We want to go with him. We want him to lead us. As Helen makes her way down there, trying to find Talkie Tawny, who Billy warned her to try and find, and Billy continues making his way up. As Tawny comes up, talks on the phone towards to Billy, telling him to just keep on going, hurry up, it's almost the time of two lights again. And we see Mary and Savannah make their way up to the top. Billy continues upward as Mr. Mind tells Savannah to put Mary on the chair. Billy makes his way up to the top and finds out he was on the other robot. And then, and Savannah starts, the ready to put her on board as a flash happens, as we see the second companion show up, the Destroyer. As now all the insects and everyone everything make their way into that robot instead. And then we find out how, and now that Billy's up there and they have Mary as well, and they both have powers, he doesn't need Savannah. So it's basically saying, put him on board, and then you're no longer necessary. And Billy gets on board as well, thinking he can get his sister off there. And basically, the nervous system and insects can't help. As, of course, he tells Savannah to throw himself off. Savannah tells him to get bent. As he's ready to throw Mary off instead. They caught him on film doing it. Billy's all wrapped up on it. But then he decides, while he's still tired to say Shazam, because he's hooked up to it with the nervous system, he and the entire robot turn into Shazam as he catches Mary, putting her aside as basically now the Destroyer takes control and starts fighting Billy. Captain Marvel. As he's still holding on to Mary though, trying to protect her. As they continue fighting more until he gets Mary down, and then he goes in for a big mighty punch. The strength of Hercules and a little boost from Zeus, he punches right through both of the robots. As everyone cheers, but unfortunately his punch was so strong, it created a black hole that sucks everything, the robots and Marvel, into it. And Mr. Mind as well, as they are all pulled in. Savannah holds on tight as everything's pulled in except for Billy and Savannah. And it looks like for a brief moment that those towers of bugs all around them. And I love how Tony's like, that's a lot of cockroaches. What is holding them up? Oh, I see. Nothing. This is gonna be unpleasant. Whoosh. Everyone's hit by the beetle. And I love how Helen's like, I don't blame her. As they get up and Billy tries to say the magic word, but apparently Shazam was pulled into the black hole. No, not only was Mr. Mind sent back to eternity, but so was Shazam. Which Savannah's like, well, isn't that interesting? Billy then starts to just beat up on the kid till he pulls out a gun. Then Mary shows up with her powers and is bulletproof as she then starts slapping Savannah. And basically the two siblings hug, and it turns out she was far enough that she was fine, and then realizing, because they're linked, she does Shazam and it brings back Marvel from eternity. Then she turns and they fly off as Savannah is arrested. As we then see Mary's fooling around in the Rock of Eternity as the wizard explains everything to him as the eyes are closed. Basically then he said the eyes were closed not when Mr. Mind was defeated, but when Savannah was captured, meaning that it was more from him was the true threat all along. As they even say Savannah was doomed, and Mr. Mind was doomed the moment Savannah provoked him to saying the magic word. And basically they're all happy what to do, and you see Mr. Moore, it goes back as Mr. Morris gives them back the global pod, and basically he tells them, I want you to work for me, be a correspondent. Basically he and Helen were ratings gold, and it worked for Wiz in Midtown, and the first station he ever owned, and they'll be partners. As basically Billy at first is hesitant, but now it looks like they have a bit of a family going. Mr. Morris, Helen, Tawny, and Mary. And the Wizard and Captain Marvel. Ending it, they now have a family together. And that's Captain and Shazam and the Monster Society of Evil. And is there any reason why I love it? It is a nice, self-contained story. It captures the majesty, but it still has a little bit of darkness. It's a lot like the movie, where plenty of darkness, but so much levity in it, so much goodness in it. And again, the stuff with Savannah, the Attorney General, can be a bit like, oh brother, but at the same time, it fits. It gets stuff done. It explains why you can go to the authorities, things like that. And yeah, it's a modernization of the Golden Age. What more could you want? So yeah, I got an idea what I'm gonna do tomorrow, but I'm not sure. So that's Shazam. Oh, nothing else to say. Catch y'all later.